Hello, welcome to our garden tour. Today I will walk around and show you. Jag hoppas ingen skådar mig. Nej. Today I will walk around and show you the different parts of our garden where we grow vegetables, and mainly annual crops. There are a bunch of fruit trees and berries and whatever here, but I'll just show you what we're growing this year. So first is this part of the garden that's right behind the house. You can show them the house. So yeah, we wanted to have something close to the house that something that we like will want to go out and pick while we're cooking food, just something that's like close nearby. Like having salad and coriander and other herbs here feels like a very good placement of them. I don't know how to explain. Yeah, so we have dill here. And I will be using the crowns of the dill for pickling and fermenting. And then we've also got some parsley and coriander going on here. And then behind we've had some flowers, strawberries, and other herbs. So I'm just telling you that. In here is our cucumber greenhouse. And in here we've got like maybe 4 or 5 different varieties of cucumbers this year. As you can see, it is bushing out quite a lot. And I think we placed them with a relatively good distance, but yeah, these ones kind of send out their own little legs in a similar way that tomatoes do. So here we have pickling varieties and also longer and shorter salad varieties. We've started to get in quite a few. Yeah, here you can see these long varieties, which we're so excited. I think so you long is what they're called. And yeah, so here are the pickling varieties that I will use to make pickles and fermented pickles. Alrighty. Yeah, so behind the house is sort of like a little field, and then comes the forest up there. So growing here, you also have to be wary of some of the animals that come into the garden. Actually, where we live, there isn't such a big problem with deers eating the vegetables, but more towards fall, you'll get that the moose come in and eat cabbage plants and whatever. All right, let's go to the rest of the garden. Okay, so my roommate wanted me to show you her flower, or like her flowering portal. I think these are peas. Okay, vill du komma och säga vad det är, Midori? Blockera inte micken, va? Nej. I don't know what they're called in English, but they're called smelling peas. Smelling peas. in Swedish, and they smell like honey, I think. I like them quite a lot. So and then it's a lot of dumpstered flowers as well, which I like. Can you explain? So these dahlias we're gonna get thrown in the dumpster, and I saved them, and now they're so pretty and happy, and I love them. And here we see the results of... Oh no, I forgot my carrots! Oh no! Too bad. Thinning out the carrots. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's keep going this way. All right, so majority of this patch that's next to the house is grown by our roommates. We have 2 rows here, and we also have this really nice strawberry patch. Actually, most of the strawberries here are probably quite old plants. So we found out this year that the older the strawberry plant, the sort of smaller and shriveled up the strawberry they will produce. But yeah, it was anyways nice to have it. So over here, we have some different types of Swedes, which is a type of cabbage root plant. But we noticed when sowing this crop that, first of all, they weren't doing well. But we noticed that there is a common soil fungal disease here. In Swedish, it's called clump root, which sort of inhibits... Oh, those 2 look good, actually. Yeah. It inhibits the growth, and it causes the roots to swell, and then they can't take up any nutrients. Okay, I'll just go up. I've also got some flowers here, and over here are some perennial herbs that were here prior to us growing. And so we've got some cosmos, some blåklint, I don't know the name in English. And then we've also got calendula. So most of these I will try to preserve in different ways. And I'm actually going to try block printing, which is when you place like colorful flowers on textiles. And then I don't know, you hammer them down and then they will create a nice pattern. Okay. If you come over here, I'll show you. We have 2 rows here of heavy feeding crops, which means crops that in general like to be given more manure. And here we have a row of leek and celeriac, which I find to be super delicious crops. But yeah, these ones we actually had to, or like it is common for you to sow them quite early in the season as they grow very, very, very slowly and they require a lot of care. A lot of care and attention. So yeah, the leeks are looking really good. And yeah, they take quite a long time. Like February until October, which is what, like 6 months almost of growing, which is quite insane. All right. We have some beautiful heads of salad, which you can actually pick the outer leaves, harvest them first, so you don't have to cut off the whole salad. If you harvest the outer leaves, the center will keep producing. And then over here we have fennel, which in my opinion is like honestly it's not my opinion, it is one of my favorite vegetables. I think it's so good. And I'd love to ferment it. And it's good for freezing and using in vegetables. I mean, in stews and soups. Alrighty. Let's go to the rest of the garden. All right, so this part of the garden, this patch, is our landlord's patch. And she has an insane amount of years of growing under her belt. She's been growing for maybe 50 years. And yeah, there's not a weed in sight and her crops are massive. So yeah, I kind of envy her onions. If you go close, like yeah, they are quite big and they're looking so healthy. Yeah, and she actually uses the method of mixing her soil with sand. And this is like only one pumpkin plant. So she's really good at ensuring that her plants get enough manure to succeed. So yeah, it's quite insane. And this is our tomato greenhouse. I think that it has been used for growing cucumbers and other crops, but this year we decided to do cucumbers over there and tomatoes over here because it is pretty good to alternate even in greenhouses. Some people just grow the same crop year after year, but I've heard it is good to at least alternate every other year if you can. So this greenhouse is actually shared amongst 6 people, which is I think more than enough to get enough tomatoes. And we grow 16 different types of tomatoes this year. Different varieties like tall growing, bush growing, and then cherries, beef tomatoes. So here you can see, yeah, here's like a beef variety. And then we have also done intercropping with companion cropping with basil. This is one of my favorite varieties, which is I think originally called indigo, purple indigo or something, but I've sort of egoistically named it after myself, calling it Hannah's Purple Durple when I took the the seeds. You can also show this way. Here's a quite popular variety called Black Sweet Cherry, which is a sort of small cherry tomato that is usually more purple, turned more peach. Yeah, so on the other side here, we have the bush tomatoes. And this is a variety called 100,000, which sends out like hundreds of these shoots. And I don't know, it has like, I wouldn't even be able to count the amount of flowers going on here. I don't think the tomatoes are that yummy. Martin likes the tomatoes. I think they kind of just taste boring, but they're fun to have. Also over here, kan du ställa dig upp lite? Tack. We've also got a nice variety here, which is called Siberia or Siberiak. And it is a hardy tomato. Oh, okay, whatever. It is a hardy tomato because I think it originally comes from Siberia. And it is supposed to tolerate colder climates. So yeah, I'm excited. And it's, as you see, they kind of grow like grapes in these like clumps. Yeah, so I'm excited to see how they turn out. We're also growing some chilies. I personally don't like chili. I'm not such a big fan of spicy food. But yeah, I think there are two varieties, right?
Mm.
These ones look really funny. They're like little UFOs.
The Jamaican bell.
Jamaican bell. Okay, you want to show a close-up? They look so fun. Okay, they do look like bells. That's probably why they're called that. All right. So the areas I've just showed you are part of the farm that we live on, and they are kind of the close to home garden areas. So we were just over there, and we were just behind you where we have the greenhouse. And we've also got this octagon greenhouse, but I'm not going to show you because we use it mainly for cultivation in the spring. And then we're gonna go down there, which is, you don't need to zoom in. Okay, whatever. So down there is where we have the tillsammansodling, which translates the together growing patch. And I can do a whole video on that if it's interesting to people, but it's basically a communal growing area, but it is owned by our landlord, but she so generously allows us to grow food there. So let's go down there. It's just right down this hill. So there's a storm brewing. Okay, pit stop 1. This patch here is part of the potato collective, which Martin is growing on. Do you want to? Okay, he doesn't want to say anything. All right. So yeah, there. How many members do you have?
12.
12 members of the potato collective, and they've just started this year. So the idea is to collectively pool resources and energy in order to grow potatoes on communal land. And all the land that they've been growing, there's 2 spots. I don't think there's any rent or anything like that, so it's basically like no free land. So yeah, they've done 4 rows of potatoes here, different varieties, and then the rest they've done one variety. Okay, but the other patches, how many varieties?
40 or something.
40 varieties. Okay. So this is sort of like the chill patch, the other one's the unchill patch. But yeah, they also do green manure over here.
Yes.
Alrighty. Welcome to our patch of the Together Grown patch. So we have 200 square meters right now. I would say probably realistically we're growing on 140 because there are pathways, and then we've also got the green manure. And we are growing in a sort of crop rotation, which is 4 categories, which is the givers, the green manure, the peas and legumes and beans, whatever, that also give to the soil. And then we've got the root crops, which are middle feeders, and then we've got the heavy feeders. So I'll show you the first section, which is the heavy feeding crops. Oh yeah, should I wash my feet maybe? Yeah, let's wash. Om du kommer hit, kan jag förklara. So I'm washing off my feet. You don't need to film my feet. Oh, I'm washing off my feet because like I mentioned earlier, there is a really easily spreadable fungal disease in the soil around here, which affects the cabbage plants. And we really don't want it in this patch because this is a new patch, and yeah, we're just trying to minimize the spread. I don't know if it's going to be effective, but we're trying. So that's why I was washing my all right, let's go. So here we've got garlic. Um, we've got 3 rows of garlic, and we have I think about 5 varieties this year. And yeah, we're gonna harvest them maybe in a week or two.
Sure.
And yeah, the garlic is shared between 4 people because we put the garlic cloves, down into the soil in October, and then they came up this spring. And then over here, let's go this way. This is the 3 cabbage rows that we have. Cabbage is sort of honestly one of the hardest crops to grow in my opinion because there are so many pests involved, and they really want, good amount of manure, good amount of water. Yeah, so they're kind of picky and difficult. These 2 rows this year, we actually tried to sow in something called, you know what it's called. It's called clover. And the clover is supposed to sort of act as a living cover crop, but also give back nutrients into the soil through nitrogen binding. But as you can see, the rows are not completely full. We lost maybe around 50 to 60 crops due to a larva that eats the roots. All right, so let's just walk down. So we've got this beautiful, I don't know what it's called, spetskål,
Pointy cabbage.
pointy cabbage. And then over here we have some Cavala de Niro, like some black palmkål, I don't know, cabbage, leaf cabbages. This is a really popular variety called Red Russian, super hardy and really quite an abundant, 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 abundant provider. Okay, let's keep walking. We have some red cabbages. These ones were, yeah, we had like double beef previously. We have curly cabbage. Curly cabbage. It's called kale.
Kale.
I think it's just called kale. We've also got broccolini. So we don't have the classic kind of head type of cabbage this year. All right. Over here, we've got our cabbage heads.
You stepped on it.
On our cabbage heads.
Yeah, you stepped on it.
I know. This is going to be a really interesting one to see. This one's supposed to get massive, so I'm really excited. Over here are some heads of cabbage. These are some cabbage varieties that are called Castello, which are a F1 variety, which is a type of seed that it's not genetically modified in that sense, but it is a
Cross-pollination.
cross pollination, which means that the next generation will not be the same as the previous one. And F1s is not something I can promote. They are bred that way in order to have good characteristics to survive different pests. But that means that essentially these ones I cannot take seed from if I would try to. All right. But yeah, as you can see, these ones survived. So I'm a bit like torn if I want to continue with F1s or not, but this is the only F1 seed we have this year, actually. All right. Hey. This row here, which is covered, is actually beetroots and golden beets. As you can see. Shoo! Oh, is it not zooming? Yeah. So we've got cylindrical kind of formed beets going on here, and of course weeds everywhere. The reason why we have the the netting on, or the kind of covering, is because the hares or the rabbits really like to nibble at the foliage. So it's the German rabbits apparently. Yeah, and that kind of sets the plant growing. Yeah, it doesn't help basically. Here we've got our onion patch. And we've got carrots. We've got different varieties of carrots, orange, yellow, and then we've got purple ones, a few purple. And then, okay, weeding. Over here we've got our zucchini and squash. Here you can see the pumpkin coming in. If you want to film close, this is, I think, this is the New England variety, I believe. New England pie. All right. We've got bush beans coming in. They're just starting to flower now. And these ones were really, really productive last year, so I'm hoping for a bumper crop.
Killer crop.
A killer crop. And then I had like a little gap here, so whenever you have a gap, you have to try to fill it in. I did some different edible flowers like calendula. Yeah, like once again, I don't know the names in English, so I can explain, but it's nice to have flowers. All right, and then let's go this way.
Yay!
Yay! Show them the zucchini.
Yeah, zucchini. Boom. Yeah.
So, behind me stands the most important part of our garden. No, but seriously, this is our 2 rows. These are our 2 rows of broad beans or fava beans, which I believe aren't that popular within gardener communities. I don't see it that often, but it is very popular here in this town, and that's sort of where Martin and I were first introduced to this. I mean, I have been eating these growing up, but yeah, they're so good, and they provide a lot of calories and protein and are quite easy to grow if you get the correct seed variety. They are not F1s, they are just the right types that are adapted to our climate, and they provide another bumper crop. Okay, so show them how they grow. So yeah, they grow in these massive pods, as you can see here. And usually, okay, yeah, these are the small ones. Let's show them the big ones.
The big ones.
All right.
These are the...
Here you see the massive ones. Okay, they're massive. And then you'll get like maybe at a lowest, you'll get 3 beans, like pretty big sized beans. And at the most, you'll get maybe like 6 or 7 I've seen. So yeah, these ones we shell and then we freeze and eat throughout the year. All right, let's show them. Well, this part, if you back away, this part
used to be pretty.
It used to be really pretty, and I'm not so proud of it anymore, but as you can see, yeah, I hope we don't have to do anything about it, but I am sort of ignoring it right now. So these are our peas. Okay. I kind of messed up with this year. Let's have a look at the peas.
We're gonna walk through the jungle.
No, let's just show them. All right, peas. This is what peas look like. I messed up with peas this year because, first of all, I planted too many. Second of all, I planted too many types, and I haven't really kept such a good track of them. And yeah, so one really good tip is when you plant peas is you have to have good structures so that this doesn't happen. Yeah, so it's a lot going on here. Let's go this way. This part of the garden here is empty. It's not empty. We have been covering it with a black silage plastic that we got from a local cow farmer. And this was a technique we've never tried before, but it was really effective. And we covered it starting from spring. And basically the whole grass, I mean the like really thick grass, die down. And you were the one who was processing it. Was it like really rough or was it pretty easy?
It was pretty easy to do
Yeah,
it.
so you kind of are left with bare soil, which you don't want to keep bare for long because bare soil is not a good thing. So we did that in order to sow in our green manure so that next year we can plant, what is it, our legumes here?
Cabbage.
Oh, I always forget the rotation. But we'll plant our heavy feeders here basically. All right, let's walk this way. Here we've got some gray peas, which is a culture variety, an heirloom variety. And these ones we're trying to grow to finished mature seed and then have them as cooking peas. And I've got two varieties here. One is actually a local variety from Skattingbyn. Will you show them these beautiful flowers? And the other one is from the other one is from a an island, an inland island on a lake that is maybe 40 kilometers away from here. So I'm really excited to keep these and preserve these. Peas are actually one of those things that are really easy to take seed from. All right. Here, look at these. These ones are called Lokförare Bergfeldts jätteärt. That means the train driver's last name, blah blah blah, massive pea. I think the name is quite a good reflection of the size of these peas, and they can even get bigger. Yeah, so these ones are really productive. I don't think they taste that good. Do you think they taste that good? I think they taste pretty.
Okay.
They taste pretty bland, but they're fun and they're good providers. All right, this way. So these will, this little area here is our pole beans, runner beans, and I've got bolotto and blauhild, yeah, some other varieties. I'm not gonna bore you with the names, but these are also quite needy plants. They're not exactly the easiest, and they've taken quite a while to grow up, and yeah, they're pretty difficult. They don't flower early, and my whole crop got eaten by birds the first round this spring. But yeah, I'm excited for them. You want to show them the flowers? All right. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so that was all the growing spaces we have this year. Next year is going to look a little bit different since we're moving into our new home that we bought. But we're still very excited to continue growing here. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video and let me know what crops you're growing this year. Bye.